Why is our society so angry and impatient? I wanted to share something that just happened to me this morning. On my way home, I was sitting at a red light, and I'm just looking at the cars across because I could see that the young woman across from me at the other side of the red light was on her phone. She looked to be probably in her early to mid 20s. And she's got her head down on her phone. Every red light across America, or probably in the world, has a different timing. Some red lights are a minute, some red lights are 10 seconds. And they vary depending on time of day and the traffic load and the area and everything. So you never really know how long a red light is going to be. And for you to take your attention away from the light, I get it. Sometimes I pick up my phone real quick. Okay, red light, let me check my text. Let me do it real quick. Okay, put it down. But I have a rule that I never use my phone when the kids are in the car with me, especially when driving. And I'll hand it to one of the kids who's sitting in the passenger seat, and I'll say, text your brother or whatever. Or get me directions to this. But so I'm watching her. I'm sitting at the red light, and I'm watching this red light. And it's a light that I go to every day. So I know that it's not a very long red light. And I have a delayed green because the turning lane goes first. So I already know that across from me, her light's going to turn green before mine will. So I'm watching her, and she's just glued to her phone because she had glasses on, and I could see her head is just straight down, phone like this. And then I know that her light turned green because traffic on both sides, I could see, had a red light now. And then I hear beep. That's it. And I'll repeat that just so we're clear. Beep. A very quick, very short, very, friendly and happy horn honk. Not a beep or like, meh, 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 meh. Like when someone's pissed off, like they lay on the horn. Just a very friendly little beep. And it was a pretty wussy sounding horn anyway. So, and here's her reaction. So what it was, the person behind her beeped at her to let her know that her light was green. Here's her reaction. She literally delayed a second or two. She looks up, goes back to her phone, sits still sitting there, green light. The person behind her didn't honk again. Personally, I would have honked again, still waiting. Not because of impatience, but hey, maybe you didn't hear my first honk. Let me be nice again. Here's another reminder. Beep. Your light's green, friend. She looks back down at her phone, finishes 1, 2 seconds, puts it down, very slowly starts to merge into the lane, like go forward, right? Then rolls down her window while barely going, 5 miles an hour, instead of like, hey, let me get to the speed limit. 5 miles an hour going through the intersection, rolls down her window, and I see her hand go out the window, and I'm thinking maybe she's going to go, oh, thanks, buddy. Thanks for letting me know I have a green light. And instead, she flips the guy off, gives him the finger. Flips the guy off with the middle finger. So why in the world is our society so impatient and angry? And I don't know what she's going through in her life. I don't know what, maybe she just went through something really hard, and maybe what was going on her phone was an emergency, or, who knows? I don't know. Are the chances likely that that's what it is? Maybe not, probably not. But for her response, and by the way, I'll mention that the guy behind her did nothing after that. Didn't flip her back off. And as they passed me, I could see that he was just a middle-aged guy. Probably 40s and 50s, 40s or 50s, somewhere in there. He didn't do anything. He didn't react. He didn't respond. But she's in her early, mid-20s, I'd say, again. And her reaction to him just letting her know that she had a green light was to barely go through the intersection, barely driving, and her priority was to roll down her window, stick her hand out the window, and give him the middle finger. That was her priority rather than driving. That was her reaction and response, even though she was in the wrong. And she was sitting at a green light, staring at her phone, instead of driving her vehicle, which she is there to do. But this is the society that we live in. And not only that, but can we also go as far as to say that maybe that's also the generation that she is in? I don't know. I don't care what Gen Z, X, Y, I don't care. But at her age, and whatever she was taught in her life, however she was brought up or raised or whatever, that was what her response to that other person was. And that's pretty pitiful, because she was in the wrong. And this is what we deal with. We deal with people who are even in the wrong and still tell you that you did something that hurt them. So I'm going to flip you off. Or worse. And that's the danger. So friends, be careful out there. Because frankly, it's a screwed up world, a screwed up society. It's scary to be in a vehicle driving my children around while there's other lunatics on the road who don't care, have no sense of anything other than their own self-centered box that they seem to live in. And no matter what happens outside of them, they're never in the wrong. They're never wrong. They didn't do anything wrong. It's always you. And that is scary. The people who don't care about anyone but themselves.